Hello ladies, welcome back to my channel. So today's topic is going to be a little bit more in depth. I'm actually going to go through the sales process with you ladies and exactly how I prefer how to do it, and it's pretty scientific. So I would recommend getting a paper and a pencil or something to take notes with. I just been wanting to do this video for a long time, but it's a little bit more longer and it's just going to be a longer video. So anyway, I follow a lot of salespeople. I like reading books and learning because it's not just sales in the club. You can apply this to any industry or anywhere you go. You can take this outside when you choose to quit dancing, and that's why I like staying ahead of the game and learning more, because you never know when you might need to leave the club and you should take some skills with you. So I only follow a couple mentors that I actually really believe in, that like I feel like have worked because I have applied them to my own life. And I wish I would have found this guy a long time ago. I don't know exactly how long he's been around. And his name is Jeremy Miner, and I'm in no way sponsored by him or his company. I wish I was, but I am not. His program is called NEPQ. And I actually bought his book. This was one of the best $20 I ever spent. NEPQ is a sales methodology that uses psychology and neuroscience to help salespeople guide prospects through a conversation that leads them to persuade themselves to buy. Okay, so it's neuro-emotional, which engages both emotional and rational thinking, and persuasion questioning. It uses strategic questions instead of pressure or scripts. Focuses on trust, emotion, and self-discovery, not hard selling. So the function, so builds trust quickly, and what that does obviously is it opens with disarming, non-threatening questions to lower resistance, because obviously we're not trying to trigger resistance, and that's what happens. That's why you get objections, because you trigger resistance. Uncovers the real problems or the real objections, and that helps prospects reveal emotional pain points and goals. Drives urgency, uses consequence-based questions to create urgency for change. Promotes self-persuasion, which makes the prospect feel like their solution is their idea, not a pitch. Very good. And increases conversions naturally. Conversations feel authentic and pressure-free. Okay, because the last thing we want to do is, pressure these guys in a non-sexy way. Obviously, I have always taught you ladies to apply pressure, but in the correct, fun way, not the loud, obnoxious, abrasive, crass kind of way that a lot of girls kind of tend to do. Because think about it, if you're a guy and you come in there and you're looking for a fantasy, are you going to buy a dance from the girl that's loud, obnoxious, like, living in her actualities and talking about non-sexy things, versus a girl that's cute, fun, acting like she likes you? You know what I mean? There's a big difference. So why it works is because it creates safety in conversations, replaces resistance with curiosity, builds emotional momentum toward a buying decision, and works especially well in high ticket service or consult sales, which is exactly what we do, which is why it works so well. Which I don't know if Jeremy Miner has ever consulted us strippers with his program, but if he ever sees this video, Jeremy, I'm telling you, I'm gonna show you how I use your program. So hopefully maybe one day they can add that to their list. Okay, so we're gonna start out with some ideas of approaches. Some of those could look like, hey, you look like you're trying to figure something out. What's on your mind? Smile and pause. This makes them feel like they need to engage with you. Or if they seem hesitant, you could say something like, You don't strike me as a type who just jumps into things without thinking it through, am I right? Now, this is where you start your probing questions. So you're finding info. And we've talked about this before on this channel. Now, I like to ask where they're from. Have they been there before? If so, what did they do the last time they were there? How long have they been there, for tonight? So you can add those into this part too, but for sake of this video, we're just gonna stick to the what the program recommends. So now you're finding their motivation here. This is the probing questions phase. Instead of just pushing for the dance, you need to guide the conversation to uncover their emotional reasons for being there, which is, like I said, why we just asked a lot of those questions that I just said. So example, so are you the type who comes here often, or is this just a special occasion? Or what kind of fun are you looking for tonight? Are you just relaxing, celebrating, or escaping from something? If they're hesitant or unsure, then you would add, well, most guys come in here with a reason, even if they don't say it right away. What's yours? See, this is why I don't tell you ladies to sit there and just yap about mindless, pointless things or talk about your life and all that crap, because this is why. It's not helping you get closer to the sale. You're wasting your time adding all that filler. This is why everything that comes out of your mouth, it needs to be strategic and it needs to be intentional. Okay? Really, truly, like it should never just be filler conversation, unless maybe you're talking to a regular or something and it doesn't matter what you really have to say. But like, if it's somebody you don't know and this is like, somebody you're meeting for the first time, this is what you should be doing. Should not just be yapping, talking about mindless stuff. So now you move to step 3. This is where you're going to build the emotional gap. So this is where you do this means consequences of inaction. So if they don't do what you are trying to get them to do, you want them to realize the consequence of it. So once you get their reason, so they'll tell you, oh, I am stressed, or I just had a breakup or work issues, then you're going to go deeper. And you're going to say, so when was the last time you actually did something just for yourself without overthinking? I always tell guys too, I always say, this is not a place for thinking. That line usually gets me pretty far. Seriously, it's not. Strip clubs are not a place for thinking. They're a place just for doing, right? And then you could also add, if you keep holding back like this, are you really going to enjoy yourself tonight? So this gets them thinking about why they should say yes. Okay, now you move into step 4. You present the solution in a low pressure way. So you would say, well, here's the thing. I'm really good at making people forget about their stress for a while, but only if it's the right vibe. Want to find out if it is? I like that one. That's a really good one. That one works pretty well. And then you could either say or add on. You could say, most guys who hesitate at first always tell me later they're glad they didn't overthink it. Want to see why? Yeah, good, right? So now, if they start saying things like, I'll think about it, that usually them hesitating due to uncertainty, guilt, or fear of making a decision. So then you could reply with, well, that totally makes sense. You wouldn't want to do something unless it actually feels right for you. Yeah. So then you would smile, nod, because that's going to keep them engaged. So now you go to digging even deeper to find the real objection. So now you would just use a soft call out to uncover what's really stopping them. Just so I understand you better, when you say you'll think about it, is it more that you're unsure if you'll enjoy it, or are you just trying to pace yourself tonight? No worries. A lot of guys say that when they're not sure what to expect. Is it the money, the experience, or just not wanting to commit yet? So this invites them to reveal to you their actual concern. If they say they're unsure, you would reply with, well, that makes sense. Honestly, most guys feel the same way at first. Until they realize how much more fun it is when they just relax and go with it, want to see why they're always ending up staying longer. If the objection is money, then you can say, I get that, but here's the thing. If you're already here, doesn't it make sense to actually enjoy yourself instead of just watching from the sidelines? I use that one a lot. That one's usually a pretty good slam dunk. If they say they'll do it later, then you would go with, I hear you, but to be honest, how often do you actually come back to something after saying you'll think about it? Why not just give it a shot now and see if it's even worth thinking about? Then you would move into step 4, which is the low risk close. Once they're reconsidering, you make the decision feel easy. Look, let's just do this one song. If you love it, great. If not, at least you'll know for sure instead. Okay, so now we're going to move on to objections that you're going to hear. Yes, we are going to talk about some common objections. So, we're going to start with the loyalty objection. So we got to find out if it's actual loyalty or hesitation. In loyalty objection, I mean loyalty to their girlfriend, their wife, whatever crap that they come up with. If they're just trying to be using, somebody as an excuse as to why they can't get a lap dance. So step 1, you would acknowledge and normalize. Oh, I love that. Loyal guys are the best. Let me ask you this though. Does she know you're here tonight? Or is this a just with the guys thing? So if he's open about it, he's likely just unsure. If he hesitates, he might just be using it as an excuse. So now step 2, you would reframe the experience, right? So now you reposition the dance as harmless fun rather than cheating. So now you're going to downplay, and this is how you're going to do it. You're going to say, I totally get it. But let's be real, getting a dance is just entertainment, not a commitment. It's like watching a movie, but way more interactive. Nothing wrong with enjoying the view, right? Just think of it this way. Do you stop listening to music just because you're in a relationship? This is just another way to enjoy the moment, no strings attached. Or you can also say, a lot of married guys come in just to unwind. It's not about replacing anything. It's just a fun experience. No guilt necessary. So now step 3, if there's hesitation, this is how you handle hesitation. If he still seems unsure, then you need to dig a little bit deeper, see what's holding him back. So now you would say, so is it more that you don't want to do something disrespectful, or are you just trying to be careful? If they say disrespectful, back off on this one if truly loyal. If they say careful, it means they're open but hesitant. So here's how we deal with the careful ones. I totally get that. That's why I keep it fun and classy. Nothing over the line, just good energy. Think of it like a personal performance. Would she really be mad if you just watched a show? Next one, you could say, well, wait, does she actually say you can't have any fun? Or is this just a personal rule? And you obviously say this with like a little grin. Now, remember, you're saying all of these responses with the fun, flirty, sexy vibe. This isn't going to sound robotic like how I'm kind of saying it because I'm reading. But you also got to remember to do the action. So if that's like touching his shoulder while you're saying these things, or maybe you're holding his hand, or, you kind of have to make sure that you're not just sitting there like a statue with no emotions on your face. Okay? Okay, and there's one more line you can say to that. You could also say, So does she know you're here, or is this a guy's night situation? If they laugh, you know they're open to persuasion. Okay, so now we're going to go to step 4, the low risk close. So once they start relaxing, you're going to offer a non-threatening way to say yes. So what you're going to say is, how about we do just one song? No pressure, just some fun. If it's not for you, no big deal. Sound fair? Or you can say, look, no pressure at all, but wouldn't it be nice to just enjoy the night without overthinking? One song won't change your relationship, just your stress levels. Sound fair? So now we're going to move on to the guilty loyalist. So a guy who feels bad but still is tempted. This guy loves his partner but still feels the pull of temptation, so he's battling guilt more than desire. So approach is going to be you reframing it as harmless fun and removing the guilt. Examples. I love that you're loyal. That's actually really attractive, but let's be real, this is just entertainment, not a relationship. Do you ever watch a movie with a beautiful actress? Same thing. Just live. So this is how you would close. You would say, how about one dance just for the experience? No touching, no guilt, just fun. I promise she'll never even cross your mind. Yes. Poor guy, won't even see that one coming. Okay, next one. The hesitant but curious guy. So he's using his relationship as an excuse. This guy wants to say yes, but feels like he needs a valid reason to justify it. So your approach will be normalize the experience and make it seem like a socially acceptable thing. Example. I get it, but honestly, so many married guys come in just to unwind. It's not about replacing anything. It's just enjoying the moment. You don't stop watching sports just because you have a girlfriend, right? Close. Let's do one dance purely for the experience. No pressure, just a good time, and you can say you gave it a shot. Sound fair? Okay. Next one, the out with the boys guy. So the peer pressure situation. This guy is here with friends and may not want to seem unfaithful in front of them. Approach, you make it about group fun, not him personally. Have you ever felt like you've been like in a group of guys and only one of them wants to get a lap dance, or they keep passing it around to the next person? They keep saying, oh, go to this guy, go to that guy. You feel like they're pawning you off. You know that they want to do it, but you're not understanding why nobody's moving. This is why. I don't know if you ever thought about it, but a lot of guys do not want to seem unfaithful in front of their friends for fear of being called out or narked on and all that stuff. This is how you get past that. This one always works. So the example is, oh, so you're the responsible one of the group. I respect that, but come on, this is just part of the fun. Your guys wouldn't bring you here if they didn't want you to enjoy yourself, right? The close, and this one's really important. You say, how about just a group dance? No pressure, no guilt, just a good time with the boys. Besides, I bet they'll give you hell if you set this one out. Now the key here is, when I say group dance, I mean if you are able, or if your club has champagne rooms that maybe are bigger rooms that a bunch of people can go into at the same time, this one works really good for. If you don't have that kind of situation at your club, you know, even if it's just everybody gets a lap dance out on the floor, or somewhere where you can get all of the guys together in one area so it feels like they're doing it together, because that's the whole purpose of this, is to get them all to go. Because if all of them do it, then none of them feel like they're being singled out and that they're going to get in trouble or something. Because if they all do it, well, nobody can like call them out on it. Okay, number 4, the playboy who is actually loyal, so he enjoys attention but won't cheat. This guy loves the energy but won't cross the line. So here's your approach. You're going to keep it flirty and playful without pushing for a sale. So example, oh, so you're one of the rare loyal guys, huh? That's sexy. Most guys pretend to be, but you actually are. I like that. And then you would touch his arm, okay, because you're flirting with him now. If he opens up, you would say, I bet she wouldn't even mind a dance, especially if she knew I'm the fun kind and not the trouble kind. So the close is, if you were single, would you say yes? Well, let's pretend for one song, No Harm in a Little Fantasy, right? That one always gets them. That one's like that's a really good one. And the last type of guy, the defensive and serious guy. So feels uncomfortable about being approached. This guy might feel guilty or annoyed and just wants to shut down the conversation. This one can be hard. They can be, but they can be cracked. Sometimes you just have to apply the right amount of pressure, even though it might seem counterproductive, but they just need the right approach and the right technique. And usually you can get them to crack. So this is how you can do it. Example, you can say, hey, no worries at all. I totally respect that. You're here to relax, not get pushed into anything. Just let me know if you change your mind. So you smile and kind of start walking off. And then this can make him reconsider really quick. And one of three things is going to happen. Either he lights up and flirts back. So that means he's open. So now that's your in to keep going. 2, he still looks nervous but stays engaged. He's on the fence, so you just keep pushing gently. And 3, if he shuts down completely, back off. You don't want to waste your energy, but come back. Remember that. You don't want to just give up completely. Always circle back around if you are able to, even on the tough cookies, because a lot of times guys will say, well, you were the only girl that kept coming back and trying, and everybody else just gave up. I hear that a lot. Yep, I hear that a lot. And obviously you act like their energy doesn't put you off. You don't want them to have won, right? You always want to act like it's no big deal and that you're not noticing that they're closed off or that they're kind of being douchey. And a lot of times you can crack them by just being like that. If you come back and even if you just say hi and say, hey, how are you doing over here? And then because you're testing the energy again, and then you see, well, is he lighting up now? Is he, still kind of engaging now? Or if he's still closed off? But you always keep trying, and until they basically give you the middle finger or tell you to get lost, there's no reason why you shouldn't keep following up. So I know that was a little bit of a longer video, ladies, but thanks for hanging in there with me. I just really wanted to share that with you because I just have found that method to be very, very helpful. Again, this book has been awesome. You might want to consider purchasing it. I might leave the link below maybe for it. It's called The 7th Level by Jeremy Minor. That's what the actual program is called. I mean, it breaks down everything to a T in this book of how to do it, and it actually goes more in depth than we did today, but obviously we don't have to go that far into it. But if you ladies have any further questions, leave them down below, and I will see you in the next video.